Welcome to another episode of the Maryland Made Podcast. The Maryland Made Podcast provides timely, relevant, and practical information to empower student athletes to explore their potential and pursue their passions. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Sophia here, coordinator for program and curriculum design for the Maryland Made team. I'm thrilled to welcome this week's guest, Rainelle Jones, volleyball student athlete, activist, sister, daughter, and MC of the coming Maryland Athletics block party. So what's up, Rainelle? It's good to have you on the pod. Finally, it's been a long time coming. We're covering a bunch of topics today, but really want to start off from the first moment that I met you. Tim Bryson was in my office and you came in here and the three of us were just having a conversation just about community. And I feel like that was the moment where I was like, yes, this is a conversation we need to have with you, just like about your perspective about community amongst student athletes here at Maryland. So really happy to have you here. Let's get into it. So to start off, we're just gonna start off, with your story. So just tell me a little bit about your hometown, upbringing, childhood, and how has that all shaped you into the person you are today?
Yeah. Thanks, Sophia. I'm so excited to have this conversation. I guess I want to start off with, I'm born and raised from Maryland, from PG County, Oxon Hill. I'm a local. I love to, represent where I'm from and whatnot. Predominantly Black area, going to University of Maryland with predominantly white. It's a little different, but, I've adjusted, met other athletes that also, shared the same experiences. My dad also came from Maryland. He played basketball back in Limbias. A lot of people know that already, but it's really important. I learned so much from him from that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I am a sister of 6 total. I have 4 younger siblings, 1 older sister. So we have a huge family. We're all athletes. We're all super competitive in the house, even when it comes to food. It's just a lot of fun. Those are my best friends. And, it really shaped who I am, today.
I love that. So the obvious, when did you start playing volleyball and how did you know that you were going to be a collegiate student athlete? So obviously that experience with your dad, that he played in college. So what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so I basically played basketball my entire life. I started playing volleyball 7th grade year. My mother was my coach for the rec league. It was a little,
Mama.
Yeah, she taught me everything I know. But I started playing club in the 8th grade, and then I switched over to Metro, also a local volleyball club in the 9th grade. That's actually Adam Hughes, my coach. He was my head coach when I was 14 years old. So I've known the Maryland crew for a while now. And yeah, I've basically stuck with it ever since.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about your recruitment experience, your college recruitment experience, and what led you, you're from the area, but what really led you to coming to Maryland as a student athlete?
Yeah, I think Steve Aird, he left to Indiana. He's still a volleyball coach in the Big Ten, but he did a great job of, marketing that Maryland is going to continue to grow, continue to be better, in the Big Ten. And we're doing that so far. We're making our mark. We're doing what we need to do, and we're having fun. And I'm also able to be myself. And I think that's a big thing when it comes to Maryland. I'm able to be myself, have fun, and just, grow as an athlete, grow as a human. And I knew once Adam Hughes was going to be the head coach, I understood him, and I understood that, he also wants me to grow as a human, as a person, as an athlete as well. So I think it was a big, marketing for me when it comes to, recruiting.
Right. And we'll definitely get into more of that about like your growth and development during your time here at Maryland. But it very much sounds like your whole time leading up to here has been like that family and community piece, which is, I feel like, one of the values that I see is important to you. So that's really cool. That's kind of been a common thread, leading up to you stepping in College Park for the first time. So let's talk about major, minor, extracurriculars, things you do for fun. So let's just tell the listeners, what are you studying here? What else do you do in all of your free time that you have outside of volleyball?
Yeah, so I'm an American Studies major, and in the fall, since I'm coming back for my 5th year, I'm going to do a second bachelor's degree in African American Studies. So it's basically about diversity, inclusion. A lot of people didn't really understand, why I did it, but the education helped me so far when, the current events. So it's working out pretty well. Outside of volleyball, I like to have fun, hang out with people, explore the area, even though, I didn't really explore DC as much. Now is my time to shine to do that and just, have some fun, meet new people.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite spot in College Park that you like to go to?
College Park, definitely Looney's. The
okay.
crab dip, oh, spectacular, amazing. Always brings me back.
Have you had the Hall crab dip yet?
I have. See, I think Looney's, they've been building it for a while. So yeah, Looney's is definitely my favorite.
Okay, because I had the Hall crab dip the other night and I was like, Carla on Women's Golf actually told me about it and it was pretty good. So I'll have to try Looney's now.
Yeah.
Okay, so how have you balanced being a student, an athlete, and like you talked about, just like being yourself, being your authentic self? How have you been able to balance all three of those different identities?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was the resources. So a lot of people say use your resources, use your resources. I didn't really understand it until I talked to the academics, you as well, also just knowing that people are here to support me. They want me to, thrive as a student athlete. It's really hard to balance, going to class, practice, study hall, sleep, eat, and then also, more studying because you have finals coming up, especially around this time. So I think Heather and Kyle on, the program, they help me a lot when it comes to that.
Yeah. And at what point do you feel like you realized that you needed to prioritize all of those things? Was that like for your first year here? Did that not happen till like your third or fourth year? Like, what did that timeline look like?
It was probably around freshman year. So I did feel stressors. I did come during the summer of my freshman year. So I had like one semester, beforehand, but that was only one class, when the 4 or 5 classes hit, that's when I was like, okay, this is a little bit different. I thought I was gonna have way more free time, but it was the complete opposite. So yeah, it was a big adjustment, but I think, I learned that other people around me have the same problem. So it was really nice hearing that.
Right. Yeah. And you have your teammates and other student athletes. So one thing that we definitely, as a Maryland Made staff, have noticed about you, the Maryland community has noticed about you, is really how you've leaned into this role as an activist over the last couple of years. And you kind of talked about that with choosing your major and choosing what you wanted to study. So want to kind of highlight this other identity that you have as like an activist. So like walk us through what brought you to where you are today doing the activist work that you do. And I don't know if you think of yourself as an activist, but we definitely do. So kind of talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so honestly, it started in 2016 when I heard about Colin Kaepernick. I was like, this is insane. No one has ever done this before, and I have no idea what to do. So I just, kind of put that off to the side. And then, during the pandemic, when George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, that incident happened, it was kind of an awakening for me to, I guess, use the education that I learned to step into that role for the team. And, for Maryland leading up to that, I think that, the biggest thing that I learned was I don't always have to be an educator. I'm also a learner too. And then I need to teach people that. So yeah, using the platform as an athlete is a big thing for me.
Yeah. And was that something that like immediately when that happened, you're like, I'm going to use my social platforms? Or did you kind of have some conversations with like family, teammates, friends, and you kind of spent time trying to figure out what you felt like was your best area of influence?
Yeah, all those aspects.
Okay.
Basically, I talk with the coaches to see how we can, better the team, learning from other teams and other schools because they were in season while we weren't because of the pandemic. Right. And I saw other athletes kneeling and I was like, I want to do that, but I'm scared. And, hearing their advice and hearing their opinions, it was a little scary at first because I also didn't know what to do. I first started at Ohio State. I had friends at Ohio State, so it was, comfortable enough for me to talk with them and see what they're going to do with it. My family, they were like, I wouldn't do it myself, but, because, you got it and you want to do it, I think you should. So my dad definitely taught me that there needs to be a leader. Someone needs to do it. So I definitely wanted to take that role.
I love that. That's awesome. So I guess define for us and listeners here, what does being an activist mean to you? Like that word gets thrown around a lot, right? But like, what does that mean to you to be an activist?
Yeah, I've learned there's so many different types. I've learned from other, mentors and whatnot when it comes to activism. So basically me representing who I am as an Afro-Indigenous woman in America and me being in a predominantly, Black area, but then also being in a predominantly white sport, it's, huge intersectionality when it comes to that. And I think that just me embracing that and then me also teaching other people the intersectionality is real and human rights, equal rights in general needs to change. And we can do that, even though it may take some time and not everyone will understand. But, in general, I think that we can at least try.
Right. And I think the piece that you keep highlighting is this like teaching and learning, and the fact that this is happening while you're in college, while a lot of your peers are in college, which is like, this is an environment and a space that is created for learning, that is created for education, right? Like the two go hand in hand together. And is often a time for people who come to college who have, previous experiences, preconceived notions, backgrounds, like it's an opportunity for them to like relearn and unlearn a lot while they're here.
Yes. Yeah, you nailed it. That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess you've hit this a little bit, but why do you feel like it's important for you specifically to utilize your platform? So thinking about all the identities that you hold, right? You're a sister, daughter, volleyball, student athlete, all those things. Like, why do you feel like it's important for you specifically to utilize your platform to talk about these topics?
Yeah, I think that because, hopefully people see me as someone who's be able to embrace themselves. I think the biggest thing is that, teaching, like I'm bringing that up again, that you can be able to voice your opinions, even if it isn't the same, by just listening to other people and just finding ways where you can understand one another, or at least come to a truce where you can, understand why this is this way and why it is another way. And then hopefully, other people will understand and listen also, and hopefully be inspired by that simply.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's definitely been inspiring to me. I think I always get inspired by young people, because to me, it's like young people are the future of this country, of this world, right? So it's so inspiring to me when it's like people who are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. Like, it takes a lot of courage, like you were talking about, it takes a lot of boldness to do that. And like, you're in such a formative time of life where a lot of your pressures and, perspectives are coming from like what other people think of you and what other people like view you as and say about you, right? Especially during this time in college. So I always really admire young people who do that. So what have you seen come from getting involved in the activism work that you've done ever since you started thinking about in 2016, the actions you started taking, kneeling at games? Like, what have you really seen come from the work that you've been doing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was the Big Ten. They did a really good job of, starting up the equality coalition meetings that we've been having every month. And the Big Ten commissioner reached out to me, and I was like, okay, like this is actually happening. This is real. So, the fact that people are paying attention, I think that's so cool. And I think that's, that's all I want, is people to pay attention and to learn and whatnot. And I think that, the next step is to make policies, make rules, to, find other ways to enforce it. So.
Right, like changing the system so that those structures are being shifted. Right. So I guess leading to my next question, what changes do you want to see in the next 5 years in sport? And you don't have to limit it to volleyball or college, really, but just in sport in general, what are those changes you hope to see from now, 5 years from now?
Yeah, 5 years from now is a long time, but I guess, that's how long it may take. But I think the biggest thing is not waiting until an event happens. So I think the biggest thing, even with the mental health crisis going on, I think that people are waiting until something happens, something tragic happens, people to, wake up and realize that this is real. I think that continuing it throughout, time, and continuing to, realize that this is real all the time. This isn't just, a one-time event. I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding that we can't just, let it die down. We have to continue to let it happen, make rules, make change.
Right. The proactive versus reactive that I feel like people have been talking about. Right. So we have a ton of people who listen to this podcast. We have other student athletes, other universities, Maryland student athletes, alumni, just people across the country, across the world listen to this podcast. So what can listeners to this podcast do to support you in the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, reading up on the articles, just Googling, ways to help, ways to donate, ways to, reach out to other people, learning that microaggressions are real, and, they make a huge difference. Even, growing up, I've had tons of microaggressions, and I think of them to this day. I think they really do affect people. And, ways to support me is just simply by, following my social media, and then see the people that I follow, because I'm also following others that are inspiring me to, make change. So it's all, a train of making change overall.
I love that. Well, we really appreciate the work that you've done and all you've done to advocate for the student athlete experience, specifically here at Maryland. And, one thing, like I mentioned earlier, I've always really admired about you is just like your desire and heart for community, which is why it was a no-brainer to pick you as the MC for our first ever block party in a couple weeks, which for those of you who don't know, and maybe those of you who do, who need a reminder, the Maryland Athletics is hosting our first ever block party on May 9th, starting at 5 p.m. in the Maryland Stadium. The event is open to all student athletes, staff, coaches, and campus partners. So let's dive into this block party a little bit. Tell us about your role as the MC.
Yeah, so Tim invited me as the MC, and I was like, yes, I want to do that. My role is to just, bring the energy up, have some fun, be able to, let others know that this is, this end of the semester, let's have some fun, let's decompress, eat some food, listen to some performers, meet new people, network with other athletes. Because I think the biggest thing is that, during the pandemic, we can't really meet new athletes. So it's really hard to do that. And I think this is the time to do that.
Yeah, I feel like the main thing that we've heard as a staff from a lot of student athletes is like, I don't really know anyone outside of my team. Like, I don't really know how to make new friends. Like, and the pandemic obviously impacted that a lot. So that is also my hope too. So I'm excited to see that. So I guess, what are you most looking forward to for the block party?
Yeah, the food. Oh, definitely the food. I think that my goal is to have the mic the entire time. So you won't see me, but you will definitely hear me.
I love that. Yeah. So we got Roman Rooster, we have Maryland Dairy, and we have the concession stand. So out of those three, which one are you most excited to eat at?
Definitely Maryland dairy. I am a big fan of ice cream. Even though I'm lactose intolerant, I will go crazy for it if I don't have practice the next day, but that's the goal.
That's the goal. I love it. So I guess talk about, why do you think student athletes should attend, right? So like, we're hyping it up, we're excited, and we hope the other student athletes attend too and are excited about it. But from your perspective, why should your fellow student athletes attend the block party?
Yeah, I think, what, like I said, with networking with other athletes and meeting new people, I think that's really important, just to show that there are other athletes, like you, also have the same struggles, same interests. And I think that if we find those same athletes and just, make the community, stronger and whatnot, because we don't get to see each other all the time because we're always in practice. So I think, building new friendships and whatnot throughout college is really important.
Yeah. So I think, speaking about that part about community, like, why is community important, right? Because I think there's a lot of people in college who are very comfortable staying like in their groups, in their teams, with the people that they know, maybe people they came from high school with. And I think specifically thinking about community among student athletes, right? What we've seen that over the last couple of days, honestly, when we've all been talking about mental health on different platforms, right? People across teams having these conversations, people who are not softball players supporting JMU softball, right? So what does the level of importance for community among student athletes really mean to you? And what have you heard like your teammates and friends talking about?
Yeah, I think with community, it's really important to, I guess, find what, other people find the same interest with you. So I guess I am trying to find, other athletes that may not, look like me or act like me, and just seeing if we share the same interests and just, having fun and branching out to people that, you don't normally hang out with. Like you said, like some people come from high schools, like people from the area. It's easy to, hang around people also from the area. And I think people that are from the area, they're like, no idea what to do. And I think that's a great time to, hold hands and, okay, let's do this together. We may all be nervous, but we're going to look good and we're going to have fun. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think honestly, thinking about everything that's happened right now, like how special of an opportunity we have to like come together as a community and really show that like physically we're like there for each other, Yeah. So you kind of already talked about like, you'll be on the mic, you'll be eating food, but where can people find you at the block party on May 9th?
Yeah. Where will they find me? Okay, my goal is, if there's a stage, my goal is to be on the stage.
Okay.
I'm gonna be overlooking everyone, just making sure everyone's having fun. You're gonna find me, I guess, finding other people. So I don't know if you guys saw the TikTok yet. There's a TikTok coming out. I will be finishing a TikTok. We're gonna make some TikToks, make some videos. Just basically show that we're, the student athletes, we're having fun. We may be in practice, but we're gonna have fun no matter where we are.
I love that. So I'm going to get in some block party rapid fire right here. Okay. What is a song that you're most excited for the DJ to play at the block party?
Okay, so if they can play some Go-Go, Sexy Lady, but that would be amazing. Some Go-Go. Yeah.
All right, we'll send the request to Chris. He's the DJ.
Okay, bad.
What else? Any other song requests?
My all-time favorite, 3005 by Childish Gambino. That is my number one artist ever. I do know DJ Chris. So I've known each other since I was like 14, 15.
Oh my gosh.
He knows what to play. Yeah.
He knows what to play. Okay, yeah. Cool. So what fellow student athlete or team, it could be a whole team, are you most excited to see at the block party?
Okay, I guess the team.
Or individual, either one.
Okay. I guess I could do individuals. So I guess the seniors. Yeah. I'm excited to see the seniors, our class 2022, even if we're taking that fifth year, to see how they react and whatnot. Because their last year, our last go around, our last spring. So I'm gonna, see what they're about.
Yeah, and you'll have graduation right before the block party.
Exactly.
We actually have a special surprise that all of the graduating student athletes are going to get at graduation as well. So excited for that. Awesome. So last rapid fire question is obviously the fit check, the block party fit check. What is the fit going to entail on May 9th? What can our listeners expect?
Okay, knowing Maryland weather, who knows what the weather is going to be, but you're going to see me with my jewelry on, all iced out, and also sunglasses. That's always, a go-to. Sunglasses and jewelry all iced out.
I actually do feel like sunglasses are like your signature accessory. I feel like do you have like a specific color that you're going to go for on May 9th, or is that a surprise for everyone?
That's a surprise. We got to keep people on their toes so they're not ready. Yeah.
So everyone, especially the seniors, have to come on May 9th to see what sunglasses our MCs have on. I love it. So go ahead. You talked about this earlier, talked about your social media platforms. Where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? LinkedIn, personal, business, social media. Let's share that with the listeners of where they can find you.
Yeah, on all social media platforms at Rainelle Jones. Very simple, just my name. You can just search it up. Super easy to find on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of that. Yeah, just hook up with me, connect.
I love it. Well, any final words for us today? Anything that we've talked about that you want to share with it, people listening?
Let's just continue to be great people. Yeah. Thanks.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Maryland Made podcast. Please be sure to download, subscribe, and share episodes on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also watch episodes on YouTube so you never miss an episode. To connect with us, make sure you're following Maryland Made on Instagram and Twitter at MDMadeTerps, and connect with us on LinkedIn as well. Of course, we can't wait to see you at the block party on May 9th, starting at 5 p.m. You don't want to miss all the fun that we have in store. And as always, Maryland's Made's motto, be who you are, do what you want. We'll see you all soon. Thanks.
Yeah.